Why is Ormund Hightower so important? House of the Dragon explained, spoiler warning. Before we begin, this video contains major spoilers for House of the Dragon Season 3 and George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood. We'll be discussing Ormund Hightower's role in the Dance of the Dragons and why he's quietly becoming one of the most important characters in the entire war. With that said, let's get started. When people talk about the Green faction, most conversations revolve around Aemond, Vhagar, Alicent, or even Criston Cole. But while everyone is watching dragons burn castles, one man is quietly building the army that could win the war. His name is Lord Ormund Hightower. He doesn't ride a dragon. He doesn't possess magical powers. He isn't even sitting on the Iron Throne. Yet without him, the Green cause might have collapsed long ago. So, why is Ormund Hightower so important? The answer is much bigger than most viewers realize. Let's break it all down. To understand Ormund's importance, you first have to understand House Hightower itself. Long before the Targaryens arrived in Westeros, the Hightowers were already one of the richest and most powerful families in the realm. Their seat, Old Town, isn't just another city. It's the home of the Citadel, the center of knowledge, the center of religion, and one of the busiest trading ports in all of Westeros. Whoever controls Old Town controls enormous wealth, supplies, ships, and political influence. When Ormund leads House Hightower, he's not commanding a small regional family. He's commanding one of the foundations of the Seven Kingdoms. Unlike Aemond, who fights with dragonfire, Ormund fights with strategy. Wars aren't won simply because one side has dragons. Dragons can destroy castles, but they can't occupy them. They can't feed thousands of soldiers. They can't transport supplies across hundreds of miles. Someone still has to build an army, train that army, feed that army, and lead that army into battle. That's Ormund's job, and he does it remarkably well. Season 3 quietly shows this transformation. While political chaos consumes King's Landing, Ormund stays focused on the bigger picture. He's marching across the Reach, gathering powerful bannermen, strengthening Green alliances, capturing key positions. Every victory expands Aegon's influence. Every new ally makes Team Green stronger. He isn't chasing glory, he's building momentum. Another reason Ormund matters is because he's one of the few Green leaders still thinking rationally. Look around Team Green. Aegon is recovering from devastating injuries. Aemond is increasingly isolated and obsessed with total victory. Alicent has lost much of her political influence. Criston Cole is consumed by the war. Someone has to keep the military functioning. Someone has to make practical decisions while everyone else is driven by emotion. That's Ormund. He's the steady hand holding the Green war effort together. There's another fascinating detail many viewers overlook. Ormund doesn't fight alone. Several dangerous warriors join his campaign. One of the most notable is Sir Jon Roxton, the knight carrying the legendary Valyrian steel sword, Orphan Maker. Together, these commanders give the Green Army something it desperately needs: experienced battlefield leadership. While dragons dominate the skies, men like Ormund and Jon Roxton determine what happens once soldiers meet face to face. Then comes one of the biggest turning points of the war: the march toward Tumbleton. Book readers immediately recognize why this matters. The Battle of Tumbleton becomes one of the largest and most devastating battles in the entire Dance of the Dragons. Without Ormund leading the Green host, that battle looks completely different. His campaign lays the foundation for everything that follows. It's one of the reasons George R.R. Martin gives him such an important role in Fire and Blood. Another reason Ormund is so important is because he represents something we've almost forgotten in House of the Dragon: human warfare. It's easy to believe dragons decide everything, but history says otherwise. Even Aegon the Conqueror couldn't rule Westeros with dragons alone. He needed armies, lords, castles, roads, supplies, loyal commanders. That's exactly what Ormond provides. He reminds us that dragons may win battles, but disciplined armies win kingdoms. Season 3 also highlights an interesting contrast between Ormond and Aemond. Both fight for the Greens, both want victory, but they see the war very differently. Aemond believes fear is the fastest path to victory. Burn your enemies, destroy their armies, end the war through overwhelming force. Ormond takes a completely different approach. He believes victories should be earned step by step. Secure supply lines, protect your men, strengthen alliances, think several moves ahead. It's the difference between a warrior and a commander. There's another reason fans should pay close attention to Ormond. Unlike many characters, he isn't motivated by revenge. He's motivated by responsibility. He understands that if House Hightower falls, Old Town falls with it. The Reach becomes vulnerable. The balance of power in Westeros changes forever. Every decision he makes carries enormous consequences far beyond his own family. That makes him one of the few leaders still thinking about the future, not just the next battle. Perhaps that's why Ormond often feels underrated. He's surrounded by larger-than-life characters, dragon riders, kings, queens, prophecies, magic. It's easy to overlook the man quietly leading thousands of soldiers across Westeros. But George R.R. Martin has always loved reminding readers of one simple truth. Wars aren't won by legends alone. Sometimes, they're won by the commander who never stops planning while everyone else is chasing glory. There's also a deeper symbolic meaning behind Ormond's story. House Hightower has always represented order, tradition, knowledge, stability. Everything the Dance of the Dragon slowly destroys. As Ormond marches into war, he's not just defending King Aegon's claim, he's trying to preserve an entire political system that's collapsing around him. Whether he succeeds or not, that's another story entirely. And perhaps that's why his character matters so much. Without Ormond, the Greens would have dragons, but very little organization. Without Ormond, there would be no massive Hightower army, no coordinated campaign across the Reach, no disciplined military force capable of challenging Team Black on equal terms. In many ways, he's the backbone of the Green War Machine. The dragons may capture everyone's attention, but it's Ormond who keeps the war moving forward. Final thoughts. So, why is Ormund Hightower so important? Because he represents the side of war that dragons can't replace. Leadership, strategy, logistics, patience. While others fight for glory, Ormond fights to win. He understands that kingdoms aren't held together by dragon fire alone. They're held together by disciplined armies, strong alliances, and leaders willing to think beyond the next battle. As House of the Dragon heads toward its biggest conflicts, don't underestimate Lord Ormund Hightower. He may not be the loudest voice in the room, he may not ride the largest dragon, but history often remembers the commanders who quietly changed the course of wars. And if fire and blood is anything to go by, Ormund Hightower's greatest moments are still ahead. So what do you think? Will Ormund Hightower become one of the most important Green commanders before the Dance of the Dragons comes to an end? Or do you think another leader will shape the fate of Westeros instead? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more House of the Dragon explainers, fire and blood lore, hidden details, and character deep dives.